Hey, welcome back to another video. Great to have you all here. Well, we're down at Noosa at Granite Bay again. Been here once before and I got a really lovely shot with a big rock down there. It was a bit higher tide and really rough seas. A bit calmer today, but there's some little waves, as you can see, just rolling in. And today we're going to use those with this beautiful, nice bright light. A bit of cloud to sort of diffuse it so it's not totally blown out. But to talk about some long exposure stuff. So we're going to be looking at, by long exposure I mean anything from what I normally generally shoot my water at is 1/8 of a second to sort of get some movement across the rocks and over the river or off the waterfall and over the waves, because you get you get the flow but not too much. And then we're going to go out to a few minutes where we're going to smooth everything out and really work on the sharpness of the rocks and truly make the rocks pop out. So we might even, with enough light, we might even put the IR filter on, which is like an ND32000, because I've got that green in the background, and I've chosen this angle of the composition for that reason, is to make that green pop, and that'll come out obviously as white in the infrared. So we've got a few things to look at, and we're going to try and start off reasonably slow and steady. Generally on most water shoots, you're going to need some you'll need at least a polarizer. That's going to, especially when they're wet, that sheen will come off the rocks. So you want at least a polarizer. You can start with a polarizer and work your way up into the spectrum. A good set of filters. They're not cheap, but they can give you some amazing features and really tell a story about where you're shooting. So that's what it's all about, telling a story and trying to get what I can see here while I'm here, and then portray that to you in one photo, and that the action of the shot, the scene, the emotion of the shot, I guess, is what it's all about. So let's hit that intro and we'll get started and work on our first shot. And we'll obviously work in here, but we'll get our first filter on and see what we can do. And we'll talk about settings and where we go from there. It can be tricky to show you the back of the camera, so I'll put some video on the R6 so we can talk about the composition to start with. So as you can see out here, I've got the 24-105 on. At the moment I've got an ND64 PL on, so polarizer and ND combination from Polar Pro. It's all in one filter, so it's a very simple system. It's the mag lock system, or I think it is, and it's a really good system. But you can see I've got the rock just out here. Probably not going to see my finger. Rock out there, I've got the focus on that, and I've swapped it over to manual focus because I don't want to move the focus from the subject. We're looking for waves out here coming in to crash, and then we can take a photo. So as you can see in the background, I've got a nice little bit of that green of the little mountain behind, coming down into the back of the scene, so that breaks up the flat scene. Otherwise you just got a rock and water and clouds, and that's why I've come to the side of the shot. I'm just putting something in the background that can show us a little bit of depth. We're going to have water motion and all that beautiful stuff that you can see there now, and that's fantastic, but we also don't want just a big flat black canvas, because that can sometimes take away from a really nice shot. So that's why I've composed it. So I've got over here in the background, I've got that little bit of mountain. That starts in the top right corner and it just comes across. Still leaves me a little bit so you know that I'm at the ocean and not in a lake or something like that. So that gives what that's all about. Just the polarizer on, because it is bright, to get it 1/8 of a second, it was too bright, so it wasn't going to be enough. So that's why I've put the ND64 straight on. And they are a really good system in the fact, here's a polarizer, so you can see that, and that's the mag lock section. So you've got the two little buttons, so that locks it in. So unlike other systems where you've just got the magnet, this one actually, these little buttons line up with a brown section on your mounting plate, and they just locks in, so it's never going to fall off, no matter what. Even if you bump it, it's not going to fall off. It's going to stay locked to the end, but it's still just a quick, like not even that far of a turn, and then you can get your filters and swap your filters. So you have the versatility of a magnet system without having the scariness of dropping a magnetic filter off or bumping it off. Again, I've got the focus set up and manual focus in the back here, locked onto that rock. I've got my RGB histogram showing me that I'm in between and it's nice and balanced. I'm as far right as I want to be. I don't want to be right at the edge, because then you can still get little pockets of blowout, especially with that sky in the background. Up here, you can, up here on the left-hand side of the thing, you've got those clouds there and that, and you can get blowouts in clouds, little white pockets. So got my shot. At the moment I'm f7.1, ISO 100 obviously, 1/8 of a second, and go in and check out the shot. And it all looks pretty good there, nice and focused. Composition wise, I've got some nice rocks in the foreground, just down the bottom here. So what I want to do is get some waves crashing, and then have a wave before that come across and crash here to get some white water in there, so that sort of shows off that. So that's the idea of the whole shot. So now it's just a waiting game, and we're going to try and get some shot. We're going to do some shots at 1/8 of a second as they come up. I'll try and wait for one now. I've got a couple look like they're coming through. 2 seconds. And you can see some wave action there, and another one coming up behind it, and you see that white water down the front. And we're going to try and just keep going until I can get a good shot. So we'll just keep working, and we've got some good little set just here now. And you want to try and get some water over the top, around it, all sorts of different compositions. Fill your card as much as you can, but I'll try and get one at 1/8 of a second, and I get a good one, I'll show that to you, and we'll chuck it up now. I should have at least one there with 1/8 of a second. So we're going to swap over now and go up to my next one in my Polar Pro series, which is the 1000. So a big step up, it sounds like, but it's not really, because you're going to go long exposure, so this is going to give me to a few seconds. And I just thought I'd show you how easy it is to quickly change the filter. So you might be able to see just here, there's the little buttons. So the buttons are your lock system, so it's just a matter of like that. So magnetic obviously, and then you just align it, and there's little gold marks on each one, and I can simply just come straight up, pick this up, put that straight there, back there, and then it's locked in. That's as simple as it is. So don't be scared when you hear mag lock that it's locking it in and it's going to be hard. It's still got, as I said before, got that versatility of a magnet, but it's super fast and super safe. You've got that, just that, for the cost of how much filters cost, and they are expensive, don't get me wrong. I think no one's going to say that nice ND filters are cheap, but having that thing is always good. And the front cover is also magnetic as well. So there's your cover, little defender cover. So that's made out of alloy, so if it hits something where you're hanging on your peak design clip or whatever, hits any rock, it's not going to damage your glass or your filter. So that's another good part of the system, is the fact you get those thrown in. So ND1000 PL is what we're on to now. We're probably going to change our times up. We'll have to get a look. I'll just make sure it's all nice and clean. Want to make sure the polarizer's on. And we're going to have to obviously up our time a fair bit, and we've got a bit of light coming through, so it's pretty good. That's at 1.3 seconds. I'm just going to take it up to F10, so I can get a little bit longer. About there's perfect. So it's 2.5 seconds with the ND1000. It's a bright sunny day, so I'm not expecting to. If it was just a really overcast day or early in the morning, depending on your light, is how much you're going to be able to do it. So I don't change my ISO too much when I've got an ND filter on, because I'm trying to reduce the grain as well. It's a long exposure, so you're already trying to you're going to introduce some of that stuff into it, that noise. So by having an ISO, you get as clean as image as possible coming through, and try and adjust it that way. So try and keep that at ISO 100. Sometimes you've got to if you want to get that long exposure, but A day like today where I've got sun coming through and some patchy nice clouds, it's actually a pretty good day. So we should be able to use the 32,000 ND after this, or might even use the infrared, I reckon. Might be a good day for that, as I said before, with that green. But let's get on to the ND 1000. Now I'd like to go a little bit longer than 2.5 seconds. I will take a shot there and we'll see what we can get. Again, I've already got my focus set up on it, so I don't have to change my focus. Exact same composition because I'm on the tripod, so it should be the exact same photo, just a lot longer period of time for the water. 2-second delay, which I didn't tell you before. I've got a 2-second delay, so that gives me a time. I've got to think 2 seconds ahead of when the wave's going to crash onto that rock, and then we're going to get into it. And I just got to check that polarizer on before that wave comes in the background. You can easily tell your polarizer's on because it'll go, in your histogram it'll all go to the dark. It'll go to the dark side, and then once you go all the way to your left on your histogram, you'll see the histogram moving as you're using your polarizer. So if it's hard to see, especially on long exposure, watch your histogram in your viewfinder and you'll be able to pick up that it's gone to the left, so you should be at maximum polarization. So yeah, we've got our focus, we've got everything set up. We're looking at 2.5 seconds. So I'm going to go a little bit quicker, about there. And then we'll see what that gives us. A lot more flow. So it's already changed, already in one foul swoop. We're just changing that filter and going to a 2.5 second from an 1/8 of a second. We've got a massively different photo, and we're a different story we're trying to tell, I guess. And that's what it's all about. Getting a story that matches the scene, that what you're trying to portray, getting that emotion, I guess, is the best thing, the emotion out of what we've got here. And 2.5 seconds, about now. Yeah, so maybe even a little bit earlier. See where we get there. Yep, so we're getting some really good shots. Now that gives you a little bit of creaminess in the waves in the foreground. I might wait till it hits and I'll get one after it, because that'll give me that wave in the background as well. That's not bad. That's a good concept. And then we'll get some water flow here in the rocks at the front. Oh, bright bit of sun there, and that's come up. So it's now you got to keep an eye on your histogram here. When that sun pops through, it's going to instantly change your exposure. So we'll come back up to F13 just to give us a little bit of leeway if that sun starts because you can see how bright it instantly becomes as soon as that sun come out. And we're going to go about now, because it's nice to get that wave in the background as well. So you can see the wave breaking in the background on this one. Probably can't see it here, but you'll see it in the shot. And that's when we're going to try. And so I've got, when they crash on the rock, that then comes into these rocks here, which is good, and you get that white water and that swirl. But then you get another wave about to crest. That's the ideal timing, because you've got that mid-ground element, foreground, mid-ground, and then you've got the mountain over on the side for that background element. So let's try and get some more shots of this, and if it's any good, I'll chuck it up, and then we'll move on to the next big one. Got a couple of good shots with the 1000 on there, and really working on see how we get that wave there, and then the wave coming in the background, getting that cresting. It forms a little dark shadow in your image. And then you get that little bit of a middle ground that breaks up the image a little bit, so it's not just rock, ocean, that it sort of gives it a little bit more. So there's a little bit more emotion in the scene. So that's all about timing. It's just something you're gonna just have to sit here and watch the waves and learn them. And it's good here when you've got a consistent break of waves, just rolling in nicely every 30-40 seconds, and you can sort of count on them and watch them and see where they're breaking and know what's happening. So that's just going to take a little bit of time. So I'm going to put on the infrared one now. Now this is timing wise like a 15 stop. If you haven't seen the videos I've done on these, I'm on the Case IR 720 filter. Go check all the videos in the catalogue on the channel. There's heaps there on it. I love it. I reckon it's a great way to get something different out of a shot. Now it's really good when you've got lots of green in, because the green should turn white, and then it's like a negative image. So what's dark will be white, what's white will be dark. If that makes sense. But when that green, it really makes that green pop out, and you get some really funky images. So it's pretty cool. So I've got that on now. Before you actually put that on, that's a screw-in type. I don't have a Polar Pro doesn't do a 32 ND 1000 or 32,000 ND in the Maglock series. I have asked them about it. I'm hoping to hear back from them soon when they're going to be doing one, because it'll be super handy for that long exposure stuff. But what you got to do is we're going to have to use our timer, and I'm still using the old Nissi timer. It's a good system. I've always got my phone handy. Nissi runner, and that's going to give all our timings on that. So we'll work out our timings. So I've got to get the normal shot. So we've got it all set up. So I'm just going to have to come back until I can get this. I want to keep it at f13. I'll take it to f10. That's going to be sharp enough. And then we're going to come back until we get that exactly where we want in our histogram. So 1/200th of a second at f10. So we're going to put that into here. Hopefully you can see it. So 1/200th, 32,000. That's a 2-minute 43-second exposure. So it's really simple to use, and it's an easy app. You've got all your different end stops and that up here, so you can put whatever you want in there. 15 stop or 32,000 ND, they're both the same. 1/200th of a second. That's where I've got a good exposure here. So now I can screw that filter on, and we can take our shot. So 2 minutes 43 is what I'll set up, and we'll put that in the timer once we get this on. Because I've got a bit of salt spray, so I want to try and get that lens away from the elements as quickly as possible. Then you're going to go over to your bulb timer, and then come into below your interval timer, then bulb timer will be active, and that's where you set up your time. So bulb timer enabled, 2:43, set, yep, that's okay. It's ready to go. I've rechecked all my focus, and then I'm just going to put that up to a 10-second because I want it nice and still, and I'll let that go for 10 seconds. 2 minutes 43, and that's now starting. So you can see on the back of the R6 Mark II, it's going to start that clock, and once it gets to 2:43, that'll stop, and you should have a correct exposure done on the shot. So that's pretty important. As I said, if you go to a dark space, like a rainforest, and you do some long exposures, be prepared. I've sat there for 20-30 minutes sometimes, so you really got to make sure that focus is locked in. Make sure your tripod's down, locked. Get a good tripod. Definitely a 10-second timer to make sure there's no movement whatsoever. Because over 20-30 minutes, you don't want to sit there and then have to do it again because something's not in focus or you're stuffed up. So the darker it is, the worse. So practicing on a nice sunny day, or not a sunny day, but a nice day with a lot of light is always really good to help you fine-tune the skill, I guess, of long exposure. So we'll wait the 2:43. We come back. We've got some jet skiers out here at the moment. Bit of clouds coming through. Might get some more rain coming in off the ocean, but we'll talk to you shortly. Just got drenched. A little sudden downpour come in and got us. Everything's wet. William Patino, one of the guys I follow from New Zealand, got me onto this. You know, cleaning cloths are always so small and they cost a fortune. Well, your gym or travel towels, cheap on Amazon. This brand's a good brand, all microfiber, Meteor. I got this on Amazon, it was actually really cheap, but heaps big. So rain, camera got wet, it was mid-shoot, on the infrared filter, so come over and just dried it all down and soaked all that water off it, and that was awesome. So little top tip, thanks William if you do see this. A really good tip, and I better pass that on to everyone else. Hand it forward, I guess they say. So what I've done while it was raining, in the meantime, I got the first shot to come up really good. You would have seen that, the infrared shot. Super cool, going to be really nice black and white, I think. Really, really cool. So now I've just got on the Nissi ND 32,000 ND on now, so I've got colour back. So this will give you an idea, difference between going that infrared. Obviously you're not going to have colour, but it gives you a different sort of a viewpoint. But with the ND 32,000 Nissi, I get that colour with the same slow motion across. Obviously the water all smooths out, but we're looking for the detail on that nice rock, all the little crustaceans and stuff on there. We want to be able to see all them and get the color, beautiful colour of the turquoise water with the greens, the clouds in the background. With that side light coming through now, it's pretty good. I did have to change the speed setting to 250th of a second. So that was about the only difference I had to change with the shot. And the camera got moved a bit with the rain, so it might not be exactly the same photo it was for the previous shot, so forgive me for that. But once we get this one done, now that's a 2:11, and it's already gone. I can check what it's like. See if I need to. Yep, that's pretty good. So it's covering a fair bit of the rock, but that's nice. Might even get one more in there now while I can. It's because it's a bit brighter. Might just pull that off. Now that sun's back out, and I'll just recheck everything. Unfortunately, these are the screw-on ones, so they're a little bit more, as we know in the old days, painful. But we've got the technology. I'll come back after I've done another shot, and I'll reset everything up and see if I can get another good shot, and we'll go from there, and we'll talk about what we've got. So I've got it back on, filter back on, cleaned everything, and I've got it set up. Now over the bulb timer, I'm going to have to rechange the time because I'm now at 1/400 because that sun's nice and bright. So it's 1:21, so it's even quicker. So change our timing to 1:21. We're in bulb timer mode. Come in, enable, info to 1. What was my time? 1:21. 1:21. Sorry, I can barely see on the back. That one. 1:21 to OK. That's all ready to go. It's already on manual focus. That's all good. 10-second timer. Hit go on that, and we're 1:21. So, as you can see, once you get to those longer exposure ones, if you've got changing conditions are going to be tricky. So you probably know, if you want to do a long exposure one, you need to have sort of steady light, I guess, or consistent light. If you've got patchy clouds that are moving fast and they're blocking the sun, unblocking the sun, and vice versa, you know what I mean? A long exposure is going to be tricky to get the right exposure. You may have to do a couple, because if those clouds move in front of the sun or out of the sun, then your exposure time is going to be affected. So just notes like that, just to keep in the back of your head when you are doing the longer exposure into the minutes in that bulb timer mode sort of section. 1/8 of a second, even 30 seconds, 40 seconds, even those ones, the shorter ones that we did with the 1000, piece of cake. The clouds aren't going to move that fast, sun's not moving that fast, or the earth's not moving that fast that you're going to have to worry about the sun moving. So you should be pretty good. It's only going to be those longer ones. Just remember your conditions, I guess. And the same with water levels and waves. If you're doing a long exposure, 20-30 minutes, and the tide's coming in, and you're right on the edge of the water, you better be very careful. So obviously, surroundings, keep your eye on your surroundings, your conditions, clouds, movement. Are they moving fast? Are they just stagnant? You've got no clouds. If you've got big clouds, when they block the sun, it's going to completely change the exposure, all those sort of things. Have a look at. Now that shouldn't be far off. Yep, that's done. How did that look? Oh, beautiful. And what that does with a long exposure, when you do go out to those long exposures, especially with the ocean, when you've got beautiful green or turquoise waters like you've got here at Noosa, you get a flat night, you get a nice even colour range across it because those waves and the shadows from the waves aren't affecting the shot. So you get a beautiful, nice turquoise colour in it. So infrared to the normal ND 32,000 is going to be a totally different shot. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to put all the photos up now, back to back to back, so you can see them all, maybe 5 seconds each, so you can have a look at them. I'll put the times up for each one. You can have a bit of a gander, see what you think's all right, and then hopefully you've learned some little tips here today that'll help you out with your long exposure stuff. And yeah, come and visit Noosa on the sunny coast. What a spot. Parking, nightmare, I will admit that, absolute nightmare, but the rest of it is amazing. So yeah, definitely worth coming if you come to the sunny coast or to Queensland. There's plenty to do on the sunny coast. Rightio, I'll see you in the next video. I'm going to pack up and get out of here. I'll see you next time. Stay safe, have a good week. Peace.